when they think he's European and they think that, he converted. So they would say like, I have to, fix myself properly as a good Muslim in order to guide the new, convert. After that, a lot of our videos are all in millions. And we never do trending videos, and we have no idea why it goes trending.
If you're on social media, TikTok or Instagram, you surely have seen Rhainna and Abdul Aziz popping up on your feed. This is an adorable married interracial couple that have been doing TikTok since COVID about this beautiful lady teaching this handsome man Malay.
Sayang. Cuba cakap mana-mana ranca, berdosa.
You cakap.
Cepatlah cakap. Cubalah.
Apa tu?
Mana-mana ranca, berdosa.
Mana-mana ranca berdosa.
Suami kau handsome? Cakaplah cepat. Suami kau handsome?
Suami kau handsome?
Boleh cakap Melayu tak?
Boleh.
Taklah.
And taking him on the Malay journey in their Malaysian life they're building together. So today I will be grilling them about their content creation journey, their marriage challenges, their love stories, and many other questions.
Hi, my name is Abdul Aziz. I came
Nama saya.
Nama saya Abdul Aziz Murad.
Lagi? Itu lagi.
Intro lagi. I suka makanan semua dari Malaysia. Terima kasih.
Hi, my name is Rhainna. Kami content creator di
Malaysia.
TikTok.
TikTok di Malaysia. Please tell us about your story. How did you meet? How long have you been married for? Give us the juicy love story.
I want to give the honor to him because I just want to see what he's going to tell you guys about our story.
In Malay. No. Don't worry.
Boleh campur-campur.
Rojak.
Rojak pun tak apa.
Okay lah. Okay, so I came here about actually 10 years and one day.
Happy
Thank you.
anniversary.
Thank you. So I came here to study initially. I had a few options. Funny enough, Germany was one of them. Yeah. And Emirates, Turkey. But all of them will require more study years compared to Malaysia. So I ended up being here just to graduate and get married.
But did you guys meet at the uni?
No. Okay, so how we met was after 6 years in Malaysia, graduated, started working here. We had common friends. We were invited to a birthday party of this common friend. We met before that. I got her Instagram and she got mine. And we just would reply to each other. So there was a birthday party. We were invited. She texted me, am I going? I was like, I will be going if you're going. And then I was like, yeah, I pick you up. She was like, yeah. And that's where we officially, I would say, met. That was exactly 5 years ago. 5 years and 2 weeks.
I was thinking of the question, who is more romantic, but I think I have an answer already.
I am more romantic for sure, but he is very good with dates.
Who is the boss at home?
Boss. I think really there isn't a boss kind of situation in the house because each one of us has their own responsibilities. So it really depends.
I would say we're both the head of our own department.
Okay.
Yep. So I think when you are a manager on your own, so there's less chances to be mad at each other because we're not the same department.
No one reports to anyone.
No one reports to anyone.
Going back to that infamous party, through the friend whom I'm sure you're very grateful for, you got together. And then you guys started dating.
Officially dating. We were never dating. We have always been friends.
Yeah. So I think after the birthday party, we were meeting almost every day. And one of these days, she would be like, she told me that, oh, it'd be nice to have a husband like you. I was like, that's an interesting way to put it. And that was my entry point, basically. We are on agreement. And when we started meeting more, I think that's when I asked to finally meet her parents.
Oh, wow.
And during the first meeting with her parents, just visiting her family, her dad, when I came in, funny enough, as I was coming through the door here, I said, Salam alaikum, as I should be saying. And he was, I think, happy because he saw a foreign looking white
Yeah.
person. And he was like, oh, Islam, maso, maso. From there, basically, met her family. And he was looking at her the whole time, giving her the thumbs up, like the approval. And then he was like, okay, so when is the engagement? It's like, I'm ready. Like, let's do it. He was like, next month? I was like, next month.
No way.
Yeah, just like that. From there, it just happened, basically.
And the fact that my dad was the one who initiated, you know, the suggestion and say that when are you guys gonna get engaged? At that time, I felt like this is so sudden. But then if in my heart I don't feel something or hesitation, then I think I should just go with it. Considering that I get the blessings already, then
Yeah, it
nothing
all
could
makes
go wrong
sense.
with the parents' blessings.
Absolutely. And especially that you already knew him as a friend,
Yes.
as a soulmate, right? And that I think is the most important
Yeah.
foundation for successful
true.
relationship.
What's interesting, I think, is that during COVID, many people got divorced. I understand that it could be a very hard time for a lot of people, especially like when you're staying home, facing each other all the time.
Yeah.
That could create actually issues for people. For us, was quite the opposite. We were playing games, watching anime, movies. It was just
The
perfect
honeymoon
for-
phase, right?
Yes.
Also,
Mm.
getting married in COVID is super cheap,
Oh, because
very
you got
economical. You can't invite anybody.
that
So
is
we just did it
true.
in the Islamic office.
Yeah.
And we're married.
You said like when you entered for the first time the house of Rhainna, the family was surprised that you said Assalamu alaikum.
Right.
Was it because they didn't know you were Muslim? They assume because of your appearance that you must be like a European.
Exactly. I think not just her parents. This is the kind of general consensus that I get from people.
What do you usually get? Where people guess you're from?
Almost 90% of the time, they would think that I'm German. And
I thought so too.
Yeah. I got a couple of times British, but my accent is definitely not British. Funny enough, my accent actually doesn't belong anywhere, not even Syria. So that makes it even harder for people to guess where I'm from.
Is it on your TikTok that you became so famous for you speaking Malay? Is that a common assumption?
Yes. So people are quite surprised that he's from Syria. So our first few videos, I never revealed that he's Syrian. I just posted him, speaking Malay, and people were like, "Oh, where he's from?" And people start speculating in different countries and all that. So one day I revealed, and everybody was so surprised. So he's Muslim. It's like, yes.
Mm.
I think the surprising part for many people was when we posted the engagement, and during the engagement, you have to like kind of read some verses from the Quran or do some prayer.
Right.
And of course, my pronunciation in Arabic proves where I'm from, and people were surprised initially, like, "Oh, his
How
Arabic
did
is
he
so
learn
good."
so well?
Of course, man, he's Syrian.
And there were a lot of people who were like, "Oh, good job, sis. You guided
Trained
him
him
well.
so
You
well."
trained him well." And I'm like, "Girl, you don't know."
Yeah, there are a lot of people who actually thought that I converted or she made me convert.
Even for me, the first time I met him, he came to me, and I asked him like, "What's your name?" And he said, "Abdul Aziz." And I'm like, "Huh?" First thing, I didn't even ask him where you're from. I asked him, "You Muslim?" And because I heard this Abdul Aziz, it's definitely not European. But he's Arab. And then he said he's from Syria, and I'm like, okay. And at that time, I didn't know that Syrian people can look like this.
But any other assumptions people make about you guys online that it's completely wrong?
A lot, actually. I mean, a lot in terms of when they. So there are two situations where when they think he's European and they think that, he converted. So they would say, like, I have to, fix myself properly as a good Muslim in order to guide the new, convert. And then after they got to know that he is Syrian and Muslim, now another assumption came out that says, oh, her husband is Arab, why he's not guiding her properly? So these are the two situations.
Yeah. I think the worst part is that people don't really comment on videos to learn or know, to educate themselves. Rather, they would straight, start attacking or
George.
just as she said, yeah, it's like, what, you converted him and all this. Why isn't you teaching him how to read Quran or teach him Arabic? So yeah, we have our whole story there.
Yeah.
And it feels like people, they just want to attack rather than whether enjoy the content or even learn.
Let's set the context. How did it happen that you guys started doing the content? Were you already married, or was that before marriage? Whose idea was it? And how was the journey? Was it smooth, instant hit, or were you guys committed to it? It's a question with a lot of sub-questions to it, so unpack it however you want.
Okay. So it was my account, my TikTok account. So previously I used to just, do videos, humor video, like funny videos, comedy. And then when I met him, at that time we were already engaged.
Yeah.
We were already engaged. That's when I started. My intention was to just share and put it there as a memory. And then the next day I woke up and I'm like, baby, look at this. This is crazy. And then
It blew up.
It blew up the next day. And then suddenly we saw our pictures in news, like mainstream news. We
What
were in
video was it?
newspaper.
What video sparked
Was it
it?
Berita Harian? Yes,
No.
Berita Harian BH.
The first video reached almost 10 million in a couple of weeks, over a million in the same day, which was in a hotel. We were having buffet during Ramadan, and there was this fruit that I mistaken for durian.
It was
Jackfruit.
actually jackfruit, yes.
Yeah,
Apa? Ni apa? Cakap lagi sekali.
durian.
Cuba makan. Rasa durian tak?
Wait, let me taste it. Durian lah.
Serious?
That video blew up. I don't know why. Funny enough, I was just being myself. Durian lah. She thought it was funny, and apparently most Malaysians thought so as well. And next day, it was on the news, different
No
channels,
way.
in a newspaper. Yeah,
Yes, I remember within a night it was 2 million. It was even stated in one of the news that says, and apparently the news they were actually looking at the progress of the video, so they know. And then we read it and we're like, oh, we didn't know that it actually went up to 2 million in one night. Yeah,
So they did the analytics for you too.
And then after that, a lot of our videos are all in millions, and we never do trending videos, and we have no idea why it goes trending. And apparently then I realized, and then we got married, and I realized, okay, this could be something that I want to do, which is selling my husband. And I think that's a very good business model.
Okay, so I think I now know who is the boss of this department.
Of this department.
It became part of your lifestyle after that one iconic video that was covered throughout the
Actually,
news.
I wouldn't say so. After we got viral, in my mind, I would still think like, okay, I still want to share my story. I want to share about my husband, but the proper commitment came out after I start getting brand sponsorship. I start seeing there's something I could do about it that could benefit us in a good way.
Yeah.
So then I say, okay, when I have a client, of course I want to deliver. So because of this, I start thinking what could attract the audience more, what could benefit my audience, also at the same time my client.
Right.
So this is where the commitment, comes from.
I can say that over 95% of our videos, it's really rare for us to plan a video, which is why we don't post often. Most of these moments, if not all of them, are just captured randomly with her. We never ever planned a video unless
You don't
they
have
are
like a content plan, schedule. It's
Never.
just whatever sparks spontaneously.
never.
You
And if
capture
you can see exactly in our videos, I'm always like sitting in some awkward situation or on the bed or on the sofa, and she just like starts recording and asking me, "What did you just say?" Something like this. This is usually how it starts. This is our own content for sponsorship, brand deals. Of course, sometimes we plan that we have an idea that we want to do something for them, but we don't plan it as well. So we just go with it, and it ends up being funny.
Yeah, and we also, very grateful for the brands, that we're working with, in a sense where, because they know how our content is, and we know that how spontaneous he is. So I would tell them that, I cannot do something that is planned, because I will tell you why. First, you will not get the audience that you want. I will lose my audience. So it's not going to work unless you are okay with our terms, which is my husband being spontaneous. And also another thing is that when you say it was not planned, it is actually planned by me alone without him knowing. So if I say, okay, maybe I want to post something next week, so I would have a certain word that I know, it would be funny if he said it. I will start introducing that word to him and start giving examples once in a while without him noticing. And then when I feel like, okay, he remembered this word already, it's time to record. So I would lead the situation into him having to say this kind of word.
Oh, wow.
So I would have my camera ready and I will capture the moment. It's somehow planned, unplanned kind of thing.
Okay, so there is a concept and strategy in her head, but she cannot involve you so much, otherwise it won't work spontaneously anymore.
That's very true.
Right.
I mean, the videos are super adorable, and even though I don't understand all of them and some words, you are setting up the benchmark of speaking Malay like really high for me. Transparency, the authenticity, and the realness of it shines through, and I think that's one of the elements why people relate so much or find it so hilarious, because it is very natural. So is that a commitment now that you want to keep doing, or are you sometimes thinking like, oh, let's pause it, it's getting boring for you to always think about it, always surprise him with the camera? How is that for real?
For me, to be honest, at this stage, I'm always waiting for it to happen because she's the one who initiates it, right? Besides this, we do actually plan to take it even further to the next step where we have like maybe daily content on YouTube or, yes, correct, on different channels. We do have a concept coming soon, hopefully. Yeah.
Ooh, that's exciting. Just very quickly, also still on the content creation. You have that unique blend of a little bit still having fun with it, but also engaging the brand. So it is some sort of business already, right? How is it in Malaysia? What's the best and the worst part of being content creator?
That's your
Okay.
specialty.
The best part is that I feel like finally I can, connect with the people. And I didn't realize how much our life could be related to other people's life. And I feel connected and more close to the people. The best part is that when we get to go out, when people recognize us, we started making friends with them. The worst part, I wouldn't say the worst part because it didn't really bother us that much. It's just, some kind of hate comments. But most of the time, I would just delete the hate comments so that there will be no more
Trace of
negative
negativity.
debate in the section. So I just cut it off. I just want to have a positive community and environment.
We did try to leave these comments before, and it ends up growing so much. People debating, people who want to defend us, and other people who attack us. Or usually it's one person who started the comments. So it's better to just remove the negativity from it.
We would just delete all the rage bait. He said we will have like a bunch of people defending us, and then it will be an argument between them. And at the end, it's not about us anymore. Now they start attacking in an individual level.
Especially that your channel is not to spark the conversation, it's about entertaining and like uplifting content, right?
Yes.
Your life has basically changed overnight, right? Because you've got overnight coverage across different media and the TV.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest change that has happened?
I think there isn't really any change in our life particularly, but in my work, I think people recognized me more. Some people that I work with, or I got to work with later, they were surprised that, oh, Abdul Aziz, the guy who was in BH, was it the media, right? And these were projects that are in completely different states than Selangor or KL. So I had a project, for example, in Terengganu, and when I go there, people recognize me there, and they start speaking with me about it and tell me about other influencers who were foreigners as well. Be honest, very pleasing, when you get to meet new people that you're supposed to work with, but they already know you and you treat each other nicely. I think that was really nice.
Yeah, like the ice has been broken already, right?
More individual level, I would say there is some change where you do need to mind your presence in public, because we do get recognized almost on daily basis when we go out. And whether how you're dressed or how you look, how you present yourself, or even like, for example, going to buying coffee, for example. The cashier knows you, and there are things that are expected, like things, thank you, right? And you have to keep such a positive, which luckily we
Image.
both are that way already. But yeah, you have to now think about it. Previously, it was unconscious. Now
Yeah.
you consciously have to be aware of what you're doing. or
Even
saying
during
on-
bad days, right? Which we all have.
Yeah, exactly.
So people do recognize you a lot on the street. Do you have
Yeah.
any funny situations
Taking pictures with people.
of asking you to speak Malay in front of them?
Yeah, that happens.
And sometimes they would just come to him and just use the word that he said wrongly on TikTok.
Yeah.
So they would just go like, "Yo, bro, sakyap," and then we know exactly which video that they have watched, and that's it. They just wanted to, like make a point that we know you.
Oh,
But that's
so
very, very sweet. And there are also some people that are more shy. So they met us and then they would comment in our video. By the way, I was the girl just now, but I was too shy to take picture.
I've seen those too
Yes.
online. That is
Yeah.
very, very sweet.
Makes you want to keep on going.
Absolutely. But on the other hand, do you guys sometimes fight over the content or have like disagreements?
Caps lock NEVER.
No way, really?
Yeah.
No.
We never had that.
Like we said earlier, both of us have different roles, right? So we do recognize each other's strength. So when we identify each other's strength and I know, okay, he is good at this, so I will step back. And he knows I am good at this and he will step back and he will let me do the decision, the planning, and he will follow, and vice versa. We're friends and we know what each other likes. So technically what I suggested is what he likes as well.
Do you think there is the cultural differences that help you guys with that journey, that make it so strong or so unique or so filled with that understanding?
To be honest, when you're married to different nationality,
Different culture, yeah.
different culture, it's definitely, in my opinion, and a lot of people, I've heard the same from them, is the hardest thing to adapt to. We need to usually compromise a lot because of culture differences. So I wouldn't say it's a strong point that helps us, but we do have to compromise for these differences, especially like there are major differences in our culture. Luckily, on the other hand, as well, we have major similarities because probably of the same religion. So there are things that are expected, manners, greetings, and all these. These are there, so they make it easy for me to how to treat her parents. At the same time, how she treats my parents, let's say. I think it's a long-term process, to be honest, to adapt to it. And until today, like sometimes we finally reach a conclusion why we have sometimes certain arguments or disagreements because, oh, wait a moment. I've actually grew up 26, 27 years doing that thing. I can't be expected, to change it overnight or even over a year. These things takes time. Same for her as well.
And do you have any examples of those big differences that you had to deal with?
I do have these big differences. Malays in general are very timid. When we say something, we sugarcoat almost everything. Arabs
Cushion it around.
Arabs in general are very expressive. So it's like to give an example, it's like an extrovert versus introvert somehow. So it's so hard to manage and sometimes could be misinterpreted. So I grew up in an environment where everything is sugarcoating. Like my parents would sugarcoat things when they speak with me even. So when I heard something that is not sugarcoated or very direct, I would be taken aback and I'm like, oh, yeah. And I feel like, how could you, But then after a few years, I realized, why am I being like this? It's actually who they are. So I just have to, take it with a pinch of salt, as what my husband always tell me.
One other example would be we use a lot of hand gestures. And especially my family, So in these cases, it's more like, especially from outside point of view, people would think we're fighting. But to us, I can't speak without moving my hands. It's kind
Passion.
it's kind of expected. My mom were to say something to her with a lot of facial gestures, expressions, and hands. People might misunderstand it as like you're angry or mad. And I have to tell my wife, No. I promise you, that's completely normal.
Another thing is that I would say food, or how Malay bond. For example, like when I take him home, the first thing we do is eat. Like everything is ready. All we do is eat, we speak, and we eat again. And you know it, right? So when last time makan, and the word dah makan ke, it's so heavy. It comes with love, caring, concern for you and all that. But some people might think it's like maybe it's disrespectful because they don't know that is our culture. Like for example, when we brought Tete, his grandmother, to my place, to the hometown, and we arrive, we shake hands, and then we eat instantly. So his grandmother would say, "Isn't this disrespectful?" And we would say, "No, it's disrespectful if you don't eat."
Usually, after greetings, sit down, get to know people, introduce yourself, basically feel comfortable before you start or get to the food part.
For us, is that we do all this, what he mentioned, while eating. So that's how we bond, right? Like what we believe, my mom is like, when you have a happy tummy, you will have a happy life.
Did you have anything from Malaysian culture that you had to adjust?
Food, for sure. Especially if you go, for example, to, let's say, strangers or relatives' houses. Of course, we already agreed that it's all about food, right? And now you're expected, for example, to straight go to eat. And this food is not necessarily her mom, my mother-in-law. She knows exactly how I like the food. So she would make it, prepare it in a way that I like it. She would cook things that I like. Now you're invited to a different house. We're expected to eat, for example, a dish that is maybe sweet or extra spicy. Oh, not to mention that her family comes from Negeri Sembilan, and Negeri Sembilan is known for the spiciest Malaysian dishes. Yeah, there is a huge adaptation there. Visitation, when it comes to visitations, food, I think I've adapted to it somehow. I know where to just do enough, to be respectful, exactly, and to not be feeling bad about myself as well.
What's the best thing of marrying someone outside of your culture?
It comes with nice advantages, actually. First, makes you more open-minded. It changes you. Of course, I could have married to a Syrian girl, let's say, and everything would have remained the same, right? Personally, I like change. There is so much fun when things are happening differently. We have so much to do, so much to explore, whether for her in my culture, whether it's food, games, like topics, stories, and same for me, basically vice versa.
Also, one story I would like to share is that sometimes when you see your partner putting so much effort into introducing things he like, you must be crazy if you don't want to try it. And you don't love him if you don't want to try it. For instance, I hate exercising. I hate working out, even though I used to be a
How do you look so good?
Oh, thank you. So basically, I used to be a national athlete before. But then I stopped running. I couldn't run anymore. I have low blood pressure. And if I run and I spend too much time, I start fainting. So there's this one story where we went hiking in Indonesia. We went up and we forgot a drink. And then because he wants me to keep going all the way to the top, we were already almost reaching the top. He went down to get water for me and run back up just so that I can drink the water. While he was looking for the water for me, going through all the struggles, I saw one water bottle in the bush. So I was like, Ya Allah, please don't make this poison because I'm dying already because I can't see anything. Like my vision was dark. It was that bad. So I took that water and I drank it and I felt better. So by the time he came back, I was already taking selfies, pictures, and all this.
That was one of the hardest hikes that we've done. It was really steep, big steps with some climbing needed, and I had to rush down and all the way back up, only to find her taking hi baby, and she's taking selfies. I was like, oh my god, she's so cute, but I'm so angry. What do I do?
And we started hiking after that. So we go to different countries. We start hiking.
Very quick question to you about the Malaysian culture shock. So you mentioned about the food. as long as it's not super manis, you like Malaysian food.
Of course.
And you love cooking of this queen.
Yes.
What's
100%.
your favorite Malaysian dish?
Rendang is my favorite, but specifically the rendang that she makes. You know, rendang has different versions for each state and all
Yeah.
this. And I think there is plus one version, which is her version, according to how I like it. So the different type of meat she use, it's lean meat usually, no bones, no fat.
I try to pick, this certain cut of the meat or whatever that he likes, but the essence of the dish is there.
She changes some ingredients, like they use here cooking oil for most of the things. She changes that to olive oil because I prefer healthier version of oil and it tastes good to me.
You're venturing on your entrepreneurial journey, making and selling your sambal, homemade sambal.
Yes.
So tell us more about your journey. Are you guys doing it together? And is your sambal hubby approved?
So we have been working on it for the past 2 years. So we've been trying to make different kind of sambal that actually, friendly to whole Malaysia. And at the same time as well, I want to highlight where I came from, which is Negeri Sembilan. And that's why my sambal is called pedas. And of course, he approved of it. Literally now, he wants to eat everything with sambal.
One funny thing that even my family approves of is shawarma with sambal. Specifically, her sambal, because it actually blends very well with the shawarma.
It makes a lot of sense because sometimes they would add like harissa, right? Which is a little spicy sauce, obviously different
Yes.
from sambal. But as a concept,
Yeah.
it makes sense that it will work.
Correct. My grandmother, who is not into spicy food at all, she loves the sambal. And she would always keep telling me like, bring me more, bring me more. Surprisingly to me, that it's one of the spiciest sambal you can get here.
It's brilliantly balanced.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect level of spiciness that is approved by the Syrian family across all the generations. So it is definitely exciting and I can't wait to share it. Can't wait to see what's next for you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much for
You.
having us.